Joining us this afternoon. It is our second day of International Education Week. The future is yours. And today we're going to be discussing the increasing the accessibility of disability, people with disability and special needs. And for us, an opportunity to celebrate benefit of international education and exchange worldwide. And this year's theme, as you all know, is international education is the future. Absolutely the future. And we have experts here who will be discussing, opportunities and accessibility of international education out there, especially focusing in the US. And of course, we're going to explore a lot of ways and opportunities that are available and how we can grant people more opportunities in the near future. So I'm going to start with Lindsay. Please, can you introduce yourself and let us begin the conversation?
Absolutely. So hello, everybody. My name is Lindsay Pamlaney. I am located on the East Coast of the United States, and I am a program coordinator on the NCDE team at MyUSA. I'm sure that as we talk more today, I'll go more in depth about the National Clearinghouse on Disability and Exchange. That's what NCDE stands for. But I'll save that for when we talk more in depth, and I'll pass it over to my colleague Justin so he can introduce himself as well.
I'm not sure if am I coming through? Can people hear me?
You are, Justin.
Okay, I just turned off my video because I have internet issues on this side. Anyway, this is Justin Harford. I'm a program specialist, also with the National Clearinghouse on Disability and Exchange.
Hello, everyone. This is
Justice.
Justice Chukwu. I am a blind lawyer, licensed in Nigeria, and work in the US as a disability rights advocate. I moved to the US to pursue a master's degree program in international peace studies at the prestigious University of Notre Dame. I'm sorry, I have to be very emphatic about it. And joined the disability rights advocacy work when I was graduating. So thank you for having me and for providing this platform to speak with my Niger youth. Great Nigerian students. So please go grab your popcorn.
Let me respond for you.
Thank you. So go grab your popcorn and your kunu or your gari. Okay, let's start. So thank you very much, Shadi.
Absolutely. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. And I know it's quite early in Oregon, and I truly apologize for making you guys wake up at 6 a.m. to do this presentation. We really appreciate your time and your commitment. So Justice, over to you. Can you just briefly share your experience, how you've gone through these journeys thus far?
Okay, thank you. My experience or my university journey in Nigeria, just like other academic experiences, was quite an interesting one. I think this is because at the time, Nigeria did not have a piece of legislation for disability rights. So I had to rely on international laws and appeals to people's conscience, and also on the knowledge of human rights that I had as a law student. So it was very difficult for me to navigate. There was no accessibility on campus. We lacked reasonable accommodation, no extra time, like special time during examination. I had to rely on manual typewriters to type my answers, no special invigilators. And even at that, I had to still submit my papers at the same time with other students. No accessible materials in the library. In fact, it was very, very interesting. But one thing that kept me going was because I knew that the future belongs to me, and I needed to do all I can to secure that future. I have had some interesting times, both encouraging and discouraging. An instance was when I had a meeting with a senior staff of the university where I attended, and they told me that there was no provision and no plan to make provision for blind students at the Faculty of Law. But what I may have to do was to apply for change of program, and they would facilitate that process. So that was enough to discourage me, but I had to move on because I believe that the future belongs to me and I need to secure that future. I struggled. I graduated with a second-class offer from the University of Nigeria and also proceeded to the Nigerian Law School in Abuja. There, I also encountered similar challenges, but the school administration was very sensitive and responsive. I also graduated with a national award. I worked briefly in Nigeria and flew to the US to pursue a master's degree program in one of the most prestigious universities. I have my certificate for those who may want to verify. This is my certificate, and I have my certificate for those who may want to verify. And I'm so happy to talk about ways to acquire a genuine certificate in the United States of America. My experience on campus on the US campus was very exciting, even though it had its own challenges. I was able to realize that the university is not just a citadel of learning, but also a community. I had access to resources that I needed. I was able to interact with international people from all over the world. I was able to explore international food. I'm sorry I had to mention that. I was also able to explore different resources. The lecturers, the school administration was very keen to making sure that I came out the best, not just me, but every other student. And this is what is so special about the US education. All the universities that I know strive to make sure that their students came out the best. They pride on the successes of their students. I was able to also network with alumni who were, trooping into the campus on a weekly basis to network with the students to build them up and prepare them, for the task ahead. So that gave me hope that my study was not in vain. I was studying with a hope that I will get into the labor market and I would be able to understand where the need is greater and how to utilize my talent, my academic skills and experience to solve world's problem. So I think looking at all this, I would say that I am blessed, not just to study in Nigeria, but to have the opportunity to study in the United States of America.
Thank you so much, Justin, for that contribution. I'm going to go to ask her if she could just provide us briefly an overview of Mobility International and its mission, so people can at least understand where we're coming from.
Absolutely. So thank you again, Justice. I'm a bit nervous to be following you. But again, so this is Lindsay from the NCDE. And again, so the NCDE stands for the National Clearinghouse on Disability and Exchange. And what the NCDE is it's an absolutely free resource for information on accessing international exchange to and from the United States. And how it's come to be that way is it's a project sponsored by the U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Education, Cultural Affairs, and it's administered by Mobility International USA. So you might see the NCDE and BIUSA So MyUSA International Mobility International USA, or MyUSA, is an organization that is focused on empowering people with disabilities all around the world to achieve their human rights through international exchange and international development. So the NCDE focuses on international exchange in that space. And we're talking about international exchange in that broad sense. So Justin and myself, our team focuses on developing and sharing resources for study, teach, research, volunteer, work, internships, that whole broad sense of travel with a purpose. We focus on sharing resources and connecting people in the disability community with creating a space where that supports them in pursuing those opportunities. And so what are those resources? What are those services that we're able to provide? So some examples of what our team can connect you with include things like our inquiry and referral service. So you can contact our team directly, and I'll explain a bit more about how you can do that. But you can contact our team directly if you have any kind of specific questions. Maybe you're interested in traveling to the United States, but you have questions about what supports you might get in the airport, or what supports you might get throughout a visa process, those kinds of things, or what programs are available. You can contact us directly with that kind of questions. But I think another avenue that is a really interesting starting point is our online resource library. So something we dedicate a lot of time to developing is the NCDE resource library, where you can find online tip sheets, alumni stories, best practices, ranging from travel tips, again, program options. But what we really like to focus on is saying that the authority in this situation, the people who have the best expertise, are alumni of exchange programs themselves. So we're looking to kind of elevate the platform here, where disabled participants. So looking at people like Justice, who it's happening here, it's happening now. Justice has such a wealth of information about what it was like to travel to the United States as someone with a disability identity, a member of the disability community. What was your experience like? What can you tell us? What do we need to know? And how can that help people going forward who are looking to, kind of experience those same journeys? So we look to develop these resources and put them on this online platform so they can be accessed by people who are looking to start their own exchange journeys. And then other resources